What's up, YouTube? This is Buff Reaper, and the new DLC for Ghost came out called Devastation. So I'm here to bring you some new tips and tricks on the new Extinction mode called Mayday. And in this tips and tricks, I'm going to include team class setup, just overall tips and tricks, what to use on the map, like traps, the Venom X's. I'm going to cover what they do, how to use them. I'm going to cover what buildables to use and how to protect the pipes later on, and how to kill the KRAKEN at the end. Also, at the time of recording this, which is about 2 days after the DLC came out, I've currently beaten the co-op mode with 3 relics on, and you'll see that right here. So now let's jump into the actual tips and tricks. We'll start with the team class setup. Now what you'll see on screen right now is one of the class setups that we use to beat it. Some of the changes I would make to this, just to make it a little bit better, would be to have 2 weapon specialists and not 2 medics, because you really only need 1 medic if he's doing his job. So you need 2 weapon specialists, a medic, and an engineer. You want to have everyone run the upgrade that you can have in the armory for their class. So like medic can revive people without having to revive them, instant revive. An engineer can put down a field where the aliens can't get in. Weapon specialist deals unlimited ammo and damage and gives more damage increase to his teammates. And you don't really need a tank for this one. The pistol choice is really up to you, whatever you prefer. For ammo, you either want to run armor piercing or incendiary. It's kind of preference for what you want to use. You don't want to run explosive because they nerfed that in the last patch. You want to have at least 2 people running the shields and have a person running speed boosters just for the other people that aren't weapon specialists. And as far as vultures, IMS, sentry guns, that's really just a preference of how you play and what you want to do and what you do best with. And I would recommend the riot shield, because that's what works well for my playstyle. But some people like to use the man turret also, or portable turret, whatever it's called. So it's really just how you want to play, but that will be my recommendation for a class setup. One suggestion I would make about the doors that you can open to the toolboxes is you can open them up, but don't use anything inside until everyone has a Venom X schematic, because then it's guaranteed that everyone can have a Venom X. And then if you have some left over, then you can decide what would work best for your team to work for those toolboxes. Now, I'm sure the majority of people know when you get to this hive with the tentacle, the easiest way to kill him is to put the drill down, and then you come over here on this turret, and you just shoot him with the turret. Now, what you want to do is make sure you're not getting hit from the back, or if you do have a riot shield on, so it can protect you for a little bit. But after about 2 full turrets, the tentacle should be dead, and it's an easy win and an easy point. And as you can see here, it doesn't really matter where you shoot him. It's always a critical hit if you hit him, based on the red X in the middle of my crosshairs. So just shoot him anywhere and he'll die. Now, as far as the Venom X's go, there's 4 of them. I'll show you what they do and what they look like. This is the purple one. It's probably the worst one to use. What it does is it makes basically a friendly alien turret that comes out of the ground for each shot. And it's probably the worst one in my opinion, just because it doesn't really do anything and it doesn't help very much compared to the other ones. And as you can see here, there's the blue one. What it basically does is it electrocutes the alien, so you just shoot it and it fries them. This is probably the most powerful one, so I'd recommend that the most. What you see here is the green Venom X, which basically releases toxic gas into the air, and it's not as powerful as the original green Venom X, but it still works pretty well. And the last Venom X is the red one, which makes a big fire like this, and it's probably second best to use, so I'd recommend getting this one as well. Now, the way to get Venom X schematics is you open up this door here, and then you pick up the schematics here on the toolbox, and then you have to find 3 parts that are scattered around the map in little red toolboxes like this. And you can't exactly choose what Venom X you're going to get, but you can make it a little bit easier, and you can know ahead of time what you're going to get. So you collect 2 of the parts, and then the 3rd part will always be the bottle, and the bottle's color will tell you what Venom X you're going to get. As you saw, that bottle said blue on it, so I know I'm going to get the blue Venom X for that one. This makes it a little bit easier if someone needs a specific Venom X or wants one, because if you have a blue one and your buddy has a red one, and you both need the opposite, then you guys can trade, which makes it a little bit easier. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is what buildables do. The ones I like to do are the sticky flares, where you can pick up the schematics right by the Venom X schematics, and you get these the same way as you would the Venom X. You find 3 toolboxes around the map, open them up, and craft your sticky flares. They are really good because they work just like regular flares, except for they last longer and they explode at the end, kind of like a monkey bomb from zombies. So they work really well if you're trying to do challenges like don't spend any money for 2 minutes, because that keeps the aliens off you, or don't use any abilities for 90 seconds for the same reason. It just gives you a little bit more time to be protected, basically. Now, the only other buildable I think is worth building is the Hypno Trap, which, as you see I use here. You can actually capture a rhino with it, and you get an achievement for that as well, as you see right there. And if you do it just right, I believe you can capture 2 rhinos with it. But for right here, I just captured a rhino and unfortunately a scout. But you build it basically the same way you would the Venom X and the sticky flares, so it's pretty easy to make. The only thing I don't like about the Hypno Plate is that once you make it, you have to set it down. You can't pick it back up. You can pick it back up to move it, but you can't put it in your inventory. So make sure when you use it, you are capturing whatever you want to capture right away. As far as the traps on this map, there isn't a ton of them to use, but some of them can make it really easy to protect the hives. And there's 2 traps down here which you activate, and then a lot of the aliens like to jump on top of these crates, so it just kind of electrocutes them, which works really well for you because you don't have to deal with that many more aliens. And another one that's really useful is if you do manage to get this hive, you turn on this trap right here, and it kind of protects you from the top, which is good because most of the aliens will run over top of you, and that'll electrocute them, which is good. And finally, there's 2 traps up here with you, and you just turn on both of those, so when the aliens jump up there with you, they also get electrocuted, and if they don't die from it, then you can just shoot them, and it just makes things a little bit easier for you and your team. Now, to protect the pipes, it's pretty easy if you're playing with 4 people, because then everyone can just protect one pipe, and that's pretty straightforward. If you're playing on solo, though, what you can do, or what I decided to do, is put an IMS on one side, and then I would just guard the other side, and I'd only guard the top part. And fortunately, I managed to tame a rhino beforehand, so he was there to help me out as well. But if you're trying for a high score and you want to protect all 4 pipes, what you can do is try to get a little bit longer range weapon, and you can stand on the opposite side of the catwalk, and then that way you can cover all 4 pipes with it. And finally, the KRAKEN fight. I think people make this fight out to be a lot harder than it actually is if executed properly. But what you want to do is, as soon as the fight starts, you want to go over here and get in this turret, and you want to teammate it in the other turret if you're playing with other people. And then what you want to do is you just shoot them, and also you want to guard yourself while you're in the turrets, and your teammates can also help guard you. But if you're trying to just kill them really quickly, you should have your teammates shoot the KRAKEN as well. And after a certain amount of time or damage, the KRAKEN will put his arms on the ground and start glowing red, and he'll glow red right before he does this. And what you want to do for this is either run to the middle or stay on the turret, but this can actually be avoided if you do a certain amount of damage to the KRAKEN, so you just want to damage him as quickly as possible and just bypass this phase altogether. And once you damage him enough and he puts his arms on the ground and you damage him and he takes them off, then he'll switch sides, and basically what you do for that is just kind of repeat the same steps, get on the turrets and protect yourself and just keep shooting him. And if you do this, then you can just kill him really quickly. And one thing to watch out for is when he shouts, it's kind of like an EMP, so you won't be able to use your abilities, and he does this when he switches sides. And if you do, or if you don't manage to damage him enough and he does make his arms red and make the floor glow, you want to stand in the middle and just keep shooting him and keep shooting him, and use your Venom X in the middle just to protect yourself, because it doesn't really do a whole lot to him. So shoot a Venom X in the middle to protect yourself from all the aliens while you shoot the KRAKEN in the face. And that's basically just how you win the fight. Just keep doing that, And when you see him glowing red, like the little dot on his forehead glowing red, that's where he takes the most damage. So just keep shooting him, keep shooting him. If you have the weapon specialist bonus, that's when you want to use it, just so you can kill him so quickly. And that's pretty much the way you beat the Kraken. Well guys, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please hit that like button. It really helps me out. Subscribe for future gameplays. I'm going to try to do a solo run, probably with a couple relics on in the near future. And if you have any questions, leave it in the comments below or hit me up on Twitter. And I really appreciate you guys watching, so I'll see you guys in my next video.